Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out looking for some more bluebells and I've decided to come to Slindon, where there is a car park called Bluebell Car Park, which I've been to previously in a previous video, but I've decided to park by the busy A27 and access it via the underpass. So yeah, car parking down there, and because it's not right next to the woods, probably going to be easy to find a car parking space here. So I've gone through the underpass, crossed the main road and entered the Slindon estate. As I entered the estate, came across a fallen tree. Tree had fallen over, literally I think today. You could still see that it had the green leaves on it where it had been growing, and then obviously just its roots weren't deep enough. Just had a lot of rain today and I wasn't sure whether I was going to come out or not, but glad I did. So only a short walk into the woods and we come across this patch of bluebells, and I guess it's the same with all woodland, but what's very neat about Slindon's bluebells is there's pathways that you can weave all the way through, and you just come across these little random patches of blue amongst the trees. Probably helps that we've just had the rain and they're all full of life again. So if you go back on the channel, or I'll put a link down below to last year's visit to Slindon to look at the bluebells. So if you're not familiar with the area, Slindon is an old park, deer park. Used to be the summer habitation of Archbishop of Canterbury, I believe. So when we come out onto the main path, you'll see there's these large banks that surround the park, and those banks are absolutely lit with bluebells again. The reason you've got these banks is that these were meant to contain the deer in there. So on top of the bank would be some posts, and then a ditch would be dug on the other side. So basically the deer could jump over the fence, land in the ditch, and they wouldn't be able to get back out, essentially. They'd be stuck inside the deer park. So it's like a trap for deers. Here we go. So I said, just had some rain, so it's extremely squelchy. I've probably come unprepared for such squelchiness, but large swathes of bluebells. And if you just cross over this bank, so this is the ditch essentially. So the deer would come in this way, jump over, and then land in there. This bit being lower than the outside, they couldn't get back out again, so you caught yourself some deer. So the Slindon estate is now owned by the National Trust. Done quite a few videos in this area, but as I said when I got out of the car, there's a specific car park down there called Bluebell Woods, and thought it'd be worth a visit this year. This will be my third bluebell video this year, and right in there we can see the park. So devoid of trees, and used for grazing animals. What we're going to do is I'm going to follow this path up through these woods, and then we're going to come back down the main stretch. So the woods becomes very thick with these very small and very closely spaced trees, and the footpath extremely soggy and completely devoid of bluebells. And I'm guessing the bluebells have a symbiotic relationship with some particular trees. As we get a bit further up, we start to see another glade of bluebells. And as you can see, the trees become much further spaced apart. Much taller. So I'm guessing some of it is probably light as well. They need a certain amount of light to come through to flourish. Certainly a charming walk though. The leaves are just budding, so they're this luminous green colour, and we've left the busy A27 behind. Much more peaceful. So the path became extremely muddy to the point where I thought I was going to fall over. You could see other hikers had just thrown branches and sticks into the mud trying to get some grip, but they're kind of like a knockout derby, in that when you tread on them they just roll over, so they're quite easy to throw you off balance and into the mud. Just reaching the sort of top of the park now, come across some better trees, giant oaks and some yew trees. Almost looks like these are going to bud. I don't know whether that is a bud coming or whether that's just more leaves, but yeah, baby yew there, slightly bigger one there, and a big one there right next to the oak tree. So as you can see, there's a lot of forestry's been done over here. I'm sure it's all very normal. There does seem to be a lot of forestry going on at the moment, almost as if people are stacking timber knowing that time's going to become tough in the next couple of years, because it takes 2 years for that to dry out. Wow, really unusual beech tree there. They often can have a lot of limbs and knotted, but that one is very straight and very smooth bark. Just on the other side of this hill, I don't know whether I can zoom in on it or not. I think we've got it there. Yeah, just on the other side of the hill is North Folly. I've done a separate video on how to get to North Folly and a walk to North Folly, but yeah, it's got a good view across this this region. Lovely old house down there. It's obviously private, so I'm not going to go down and have a look, but lovely place to live. if people do live there, because it is a National Trust park now, so it might be they're just old outbuildings for staff and servants, but if somebody's got to look after the buildings. So I found a little bench to sit on the way to the top. The view's been obscured by this tree that's grown up, but it's not a very old tree, so I don't think it was there when this bench was put here. But if I flip the camera around, what a random thing to find sat on the side of the hill. But I guess yeah, it's brickwork, so it could have been here for hundreds of years, and the lord and the lady of the manor will probably go on walks in nature to enjoy the view. Further on, and we come to the Slindon Camping and Caravanning Club, although I don't think there's much camping going on, because it says sorry, no pitches due to ground conditions. So yeah, I think this is just caravanning at the moment, and the fact that there are no toilets or showers on the campsite is going to limit you to a caravan that's got those facilities built in. I've ended up on the main road now, and I think I'm going to follow the pathway round through Slindon, which should take me back down the eastern side through the other Bluebell Wood. Yeah, going to head up this pathway. So, just made my way through Slindon village. As I said previously, not a particularly well planned walk, but lovely walk it is. Got to see some very beautiful houses, and I think in a future video I'd like to do a walk and talk round the village. Now, this is the pond. I think there's another pond on the other side as well, and I believe that we need to head down in that direction to get back into the park itself. Just going to stop to admire these gate posts. Obviously any old wrought iron ones, and as I was saying in my last video about the iron on the water fountain, they don't make metal like they used to, because that stuff has probably been there for a couple of 100 years. So over in the distance we've got Slindon House, and some baby lambs running around in the foreground as well. So Slindon House, National Trust property. It's the actual house is now a private boys' school, so I don't know whether the funds for that go back into the National Trust or whether that's been sold off separately, but lovely looking building. As I walked through Slindon, took a few pictures or video of the other side of the house, which I'll insert here, but yeah, lovely looking property. So that pathway comes out where the Bluebell's car park is, and as I said in my last video at this site, that Bluebell's car park is extremely busy. It's always rammed, probably it's in the name, and yes, there is a good show of bluebells in this area, so the name is quite fitting for it. However, it might be easier actually to park in Slindon village and just do that short walk down, rather than having to fight for a spot in that busy car park, or do what I've done and park by the underpass and burn a few more calories. Up to you. Thoroughly enjoyed this walk and started out a couple of hours ago with intense migraine. Coming out into nature has lifted that migraine. Amazing. Just repeating myself, but this is not a planned video, but we got lucky with the light here. As you come through here, we've got a low sun setting in the west and lighting these bluebells up beautifully. I'm going to put it out there and say my last video at Spithandle Lane, the bluebells were better there. But mighty fine show they're putting on in Slindon. So that pathway brings you back out to the Pale. As you can see again, we got some small patches of bluebells up on the Pale. I think it's going to get better as we go back towards the car. Yeah, couldn't remember the name of it earlier. Yeah, this embankment with the ditch on one side, it's called a Pale. Commonly used in deer parks. But just to make it a bit fun, rather than taking the standard path, I think we'll walk along the Pale. Might as well. Right, we're nearly back to the car. Just a short walk down past the Pale, then hang a left down the underpass. So I'd like to say thanks a lot for watching. If you could like and subscribe, it will help me to make more videos, and hope you've enjoyed my bluebell walk.